Kia ora, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Here with another reaction. This time, shout out to all of those. There were several people that sent me through a request for this one. Mr. Kyle Morgan, ex-Delta Force operator. Again, on the Sean Ryan show, Mr. Ryan's got an incredible show. So it's been awesome scrolling through there and just finding all these amazing people that he's interviewed. And just hearing some of their stories. So I have not seen Kyle's one or heard his one before. From what I can see, it's 5 hours and 10 minutes long in duration. I'm not going to do a full reaction over 5 hours, so just in case you're wondering. But what I will do is I'll break this up into pieces. I love how he does a gift exchange and stuff at the start with his guests, so I'm going to see if he does one here. I've skipped it forward to this part here. He gave a bit of an introduction about Mr. Morgan, but based on his other ones, I'm sure he'll give another introduction when he introduces him. Then I'm going to skip forward and go to the incident at the hotel where this man literally saved hundreds of lives, up there with Christian Craighead. So, yeah, let's jump on in. Play. Just reading these coming up here, and it talked about the Special Forces rocked up 6 hours later. French Special Forces, I think it was. So I'm assuming these are snippets from what he talks about or what he's going to talk about in this interview. 5 hours. Man, this would be another great interview. Awesome.
Kyle Morgan, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, Sean, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. We've been going back and forth for what, like 6 months now?
Yeah.
And finally got you in here.
Yeah.
Had a couple of good conversations. But so, brief introduction, 20 years in Army, most of which is special operations work, almost all combat time. Your service is incredible. Some of your awards: Distinguished Service Cross for Extraordinary Heroism, 5 Bronze Star medals, 1 with Valor, U.S. Department of State Bureau of Diplomatic Security Certificate of Heroism, Military Freefall with Bronze Star Combat, 3 Presidential Unit Citations, 2 Meritorious Unit Citations, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, 6 Army Good Conduct medals, and the list goes on.
Yeah, was right. That's amazing. That's incredible just hearing him rattle that off. And that's only a portion of it from what I can hear. Mr. Ryan saying, and the list goes on. Looking at Kyle, I don't know if he's... I'm tipping he's an incredibly humble man. And he just, yeah, he's sort of sitting there. It seems like he's just wanting him to, yeah, you don't need to go through all of that. That's what I'm guessing he's thinking about Sean as he reads through. But I think he probably knows Sean well enough that, yeah, Sean's going to read that out because it's well worth reading out and it's incredible to hear. So, man, awesome.
That's a hell of a career, man. But so we're going to cover your whole life story, starting with childhood. But first, we always start with a gift.
Yes. I love that he starts these with a gift. So I'm excited to see what he has or what he has for Mr. Morgan. Maybe more gummy bears like he had for Christian Craighead.
Any guesses?
What's in the box, man? I hope it's donuts.
Donuts? Damn.
There better. I hope
Close.
there better be donuts in your show.
Close.
I'll be able to smell it.
No, thank you very much. The guess would be, donuts and maybe I don't know, some gummy
Gummy
bears. I don't know.
What was it?
I don't know, some gummy bears. I don't know.
Finally, somebody watches the show that
He must give everybody gummy bears. So that's cool.
it's on here. No, I'm just kidding.
It's like
Nobody ever guesses
no one
that.
knows. I'm not really good at
Just open
the
it.
opening.
Just rip it open.
Hell yeah!
There you go.
Dude. Better than donuts, man.
Made right here in the USA.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, I appreciate
Well, thank you for the flag.
It looks. I'm surprised that he said donut. He clearly must have a sweet tooth. I've got a sweet tooth. I love junk food, but that does look like a donut box. But I would have thought if it was donuts, the smell would probably have given it away. I'm not sure what's in those packets, but we'll see what it is. Hopefully,
That's going to look good framed up.
Thanks for letting me give it to you and then sign it, and it means a lot to me. That flag is the Blue Bearing Solutions is the company I started, and being proactive with my retirement and transition, and that flag is I jumped it for the first time. I haven't jumped in 2 years since I had my neck fused, and I'm going to retire here with you.
wow. So he hasn't jumped in a couple of years since having his neck fused. Must have been combat operations, 20 years, most of that time in combat, most of that time in the special forces. Awesome. So I think I heard Sean say thank you for the flag when I interrupted and was talking, but let's see how this goes before I jump forward to the hotel. I think that must be it there before I jump forward to the hotel incident.
So I jumped it, signed it, and now it's yours.
Well, it'll be framed up, hanging in the studio proudly.
Yeah.
But man, I'm real excited for this interview. You have started your training company, Blue Bearing Solutions.
Mm-hmm.
You're 44 days out of the military. I believe that makes you the most relevant man.
Holy heck. 2 months out. Well, not even 2 months out, a month and a half. 44 days out of the military, and he's doing this interview. Wow. I wonder what 44 days, that's stuff all. Yeah, anyway.
And in the training space, whether you'd like to hear that or not, you're the most current. And I know you have a heart of gold, and you want to help with this active shooter shit that's been going on. And we just had another one last night in Memphis, all over the city. And so let's start off talking about that.
That's so tragic. The active shooter stuff that happens in America, far out. Just, I don't know what goes on in people's minds. Why people would want to go out and start just taking the lives of innocent people, just going about their day like any other day, going to school, going to work, and then in an instant, just lives gone, taken unnecessarily, just like that. So cool to hear people like Kyle, obviously, with his business that he's starting up or that he's got going in his transition, to try to help support that and try to, help people, educate people, give them tools that they can use to hopefully that they never have to use them, but to hopefully give them some tools that they can use that should they ever have to, that they can give themselves a fighting chance anyway.
That, you think there's a solution to this, and it is happening more and more and more. Some people want to take the guns away. They think that's the solution. Some people think arming teachers the solution. What's Kyle's solution?
I think empowering people and not just to bear arms. Like a gun is a tool, and it can be used for good, to defend and to protect, and it can also be used for these atrocities that have been happening since Columbine, since 1999, where our children are being taken from us, and they are by definition innocent. In a sense, they cannot protect themselves, nor should they have to. In that sense, like, we need to create an environment that we as American society like have had, and the fact is it's a societal change that needs to happen. Like, taking ownership of the fact that it isn't how it used to be, and thank God this isn't an organized like terrorist group that's been conducting these attacks, because we wouldn't be ready for it as a society. Like, we're not even ready for it. And the biggest thing that we can do, it's not a solution. It's a societal change. It's impacting our youth, and then developing and protecting them to become contributing members of our society, and then their kids. Like, what we can do right now is, and what I can do and what I'm doing is showing people that you can make a difference. One person can make all the difference in taking action, absorbing one fraction of that attacker's bandwidth to focusing on you. And the sooner that you can do that, and then never the pursuit of that. And then once that happens, you hold on to it. Like, imagine and put yourself into the children's feet and eyes. Like, you take that from them.
Yeah.
If you are a protector, because a lot of people think that they're protectors and they're just providers. To truly protect is to do both, like provide and to protect, and to use overwhelming force if you need to. And I don't want to create and look for fights, and that's not the life I'm living anymore. But I also know that I will step and take that from anyone's child, and I will put that burden onto me. And I know that I will continue to pursue and never letting go of that, because all it takes is now they're focusing a fraction of their bandwidth on you.
Mm-hmm.
And oh shit, where are they at? Where'd they come from? What are they doing? What are they gonna do? For one, they may just off themselves right away. And the statistics are there. Like, if you look at like the incidents that have happened, and then as the results of them, and through who intervened, and then how long was it going, reducing the amount of time for them to go unadulterated. Like,
I got to jump in. He's saying so much, and it's awesome to hear. The protector and provider, really valid and awesome statements. Distracting or taking up a bit of that person or the active shooter in this context bandwidth. His thoughts around the need for societal change for one person, just takes one person to make a positive impact, and one person can have and can make a huge impact, like he clearly has, like the Christian Craigheads of the world, like the Mark Donaldsons of the world, the Ben Robert Smiths of the world, the Willie Apiatas of the world, and many, many more. The Cameron Beards of the world, rest in peace to that man. The Matthew Locks of the world, rest in peace to him as well. Like, it's awesome to hear this guy with his experience. He spoke about he's not out there hunting or looking for trouble. I think he said anymore. Part of that role when you're in the SF role, you're hunting. You get given a package, and you got missions, and you got tasks that need to happen, and you go hunting for that period of time and what you need to do. But I think what I'm enjoying hearing him so far, what he's speaking about, is just always been ready, trying to be ready, and then trying to share the knowledge that he has to help empower society to hopefully make better decisions, to be positive contributors to the society, to their society, to your society. So, yeah, awesome just, if only there was a not magic bullet, but if only there was a magic spell that you could cast to get rid of all this active shooter stuff, and be done with all of that. If only there was a way to have world leaders be able to communicate in such a way so that it doesn't result in war. That would be, that would potentially help solve a lot of, maybe not everything, but solve a lot of the issues, challenges, greed, war, power, fight for power, and all that sort of stuff. Anyway.
They have the upper hand, but with building your confidence in that you can do something. And if that something is just getting between good and evil, like, you'll be able to rest at night. Yeah. And if the tomorrow problem is that you're in jail for acting, well, then that's a bigger societal issue we have, isn't it? But I'll be in jail or dead in heaven, and those are tomorrow problems.
Yeah.
But right then, it's just empathy. It's compassion.
So you think
for others?
You think that the solution to this is basically a cultural change?
It's a massive
everybody
cultural
needs
change.
to adopt this
Taking
mindset.
Ownership of it. The fact that we can't just ignore this. Ignorance is not bliss. And how many more of these have to happen before because we are powerful. We as a collective can make, and we have. You look at our society, like, we have done some amazing things as the American culture, and like, I'm so proud to be an American, and it's not that it's gone. It needs to be stoked, like the fire inside of all of us.
Yeah.
To take.
That's one thing, or there's a lot of things, but that's one of many things that I really, really do admire, respect, and love about American people in general, the American culture, is their patriotism. Their patriotism is second to none. And not just, and I'm not just talking about, Kiwis, we can be really patriotic when the All Blacks are playing, or, other countries might have their particular sport or thing that they, brings them together, unifies them. But America, man, far out. The patriotism, the passion, the love, the support that they have for the red, white, and blue, whether it's a high school competition or a college or professional levels, the elite levels, man, their patriotism is second to none. The military, their police, their first responders, from what I've seen anyway, it appears to be that way. And that's something that I, sincerely really do admire and respect about the American people and the way that they show that. It's awesome. He's talking about some really great stuff here about the cultural change, and Sean just reiterating, asking, so you think that's what's needed? Yeah, the societal shift. I wish I had the answers. I'm sure Kyle wishes he had the answers. He did mention that this isn't a solution, but man, if you could get genuine good people like the Kyles of the world, Sean Ryans and other people, and sit down with the leaders, and sit down with, whether it's gang members, sit down with people that, want to, or that are curious to find out how they can solve these issues. And when he's saying we are powerful, like them, they are powerful when they're together, or when people bond together, man, you can achieve so much. And it's a shame that, there isn't more of that. And hopefully, man, I hope this active shooter stuff dies down and fades away in America. Don't know what the answers are. Removing guns, clearly that's not the answer for America. But yeah, it's a tough one where they're at.
Taking ownership of it.
Do you think that's actually a real possibility? Because one of the things that I see in today's culture is everybody's just looking for somebody to blame. Nobody actually wants to take responsibility, and nobody actually, from the school boards to the parents to the politicians to the people.
Yeah.
What I see a lot of answers is, instead of the parents actually learning maybe some things that they could adopt to improve their, kids' chances of survival if that was to happen. Like I did a video that was like 5 things that you could do. if there was an active shooter. And, but what I see the parents doing.
That's interesting. I'll have a look for that. 5 things, Sean's video, 5 things you could do if there's an active shooter. I think it's really tough, but there'd likely be some real generic things that, that you as an individual could do in the case of an active shooter. I'll wait until I have a look at and react to what he's got on his video, but that's an interesting point. It's thankfully, unfortunately, though tragically, we had our own Christchurch shooting in the mosques that happened not that long ago. And thankfully, touch wood, those things are not and have not been anywhere near as prevalent or prolific here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, as clearly they are and have been in the US. Similarly in Australia, thankfully, nowhere near, nothing like what has happened, unfortunately, in America. But there's some key differences between, obviously, the 3 countries, but some similarities between New Zealand and Australia in terms of when those things happened, like the crackdown on the gun laws in our 2 respective countries, New Zealand and Australia, vastly different to America. So that's had a huge impact, and I think that's where a lot of people against the weapons and firearms in America were trying to draw on what Australia has done, and then New Zealand after the Christchurch mosque terrorist attack. Yeah, the gun laws have tightened right up here in Aotearoa as well, and thankfully so we don't really have that. Well, not really, we don't have the same level of concern, but it'd be interesting to see the 5 things that you could do. Just rattling my brain right now, thinking of a few things, thinking, that's an interesting take. So even though we're in a country like New Zealand and Australia that we don't really have the same need, I think, is to worry like the Americans do, I think there's still some relevance to that, and still, tools that you'd want to have up your sleeve in case of break glass, in case of emergency, so to speak.
Is they want to hire a security guard. They are legitimately willing to bet their kid's life on somebody that they're going to pay $13 an hour for. Yeah. And that's their solution. They think that somebody that's being paid $13 an hour is going to jump in front of the bullet that's heading right for their kid's face. And that's not going to happen. Because I think that the people are just too busy, or they think that their priorities aren't there. This is somebody else's job to teach my kid this stuff.
And I agree with what Sean's saying there 100%. Like $13 an hour, they're talking about there, whatever the minimum wage is, you have to ask yourself, what the person that's going into that, like that's clearly sort of sounds like a minimum wage type role. I could be wrong, but man, security guards in a school, or they have a place and they try to do the right thing, but an active shooter, you're going to have a security guard who's unarmed or armed. Either way, there's still risks involved, but as a parent, that wouldn't give me confidence that this person is going to do everything that they can to look after my child. They're one person. Maybe there's 2 of them on shift. I don't know. And you've got a school of hundreds of teachers, hundreds of students, maybe not hundreds of teachers, but definitely hundreds of students, and a number of teachers. Doesn't make sense.
Somebody else.
But it's good that at least, I suppose they're thinking, they're trying to come up with ways to try to, I guess, deter an event like that from happening, which is probably all that would really be good for, as a potential deterrent to an active shooter, not so much relying on that person to be able to diffuse that situation or neutralize the threat. He was talking also about parents just then, about parents looking for, that's the school's job to educate my children. That's these people's job to do this and do that for my children. It's the coach's job to train my children to be able to do, there's an element of truth to those things, but in reality, my 2 cents for what it's worth, all of this stuff, whether it's to do with active shooting, whether it's about teaching children values, integrity, character, respect, physical, to train physically and look after themselves, all of that starts, my 2 cents, my opinion, all of it starts within your own home. Starts with you as a parent, starts with you taking ownership, like Kyle was saying, leading by example, and it starts in your own home. And you try to distill that information and share that knowledge with your loved ones, with your children, so that they see it, they hear it, and they feel it. Because especially when they start doing it, whether it's sports or active, and you're helping them prepare for their sports and that sort of thing, they understand, okay, yeah, this is how this works. And then they pass that on. They hopefully go on to be positive contributors within the community, and so the cycle continues, hopefully. Unfortunately, you have some people that go through some pretty horrific upbringings, and then a different cycle starts, or the same type of cycle typically flows on within their lives, which may lead to these things. It's tragic.
Else's job to protect. That's your fucking job.
No,
that's your fucking kid.
Your safety and your security and of what you care about and who you care about is on you.
Yeah.
And like, there's all kinds of, like, people want to throw tools or resources or a bill, a policy, they'll take the guns, give them guns. Like, to me, it's like, let's strip all of that away and just focus on the fact that, like, get back to center of what it is to be a protector, like, truly in your household. And then if you think about how powerful that is to make
in your household, and Sean Ryan's comments, like, that's your effing job to look after and protect your children. Both of them spot on. I mean, yeah, I agree 100%.
a change, like an impact change, it's like a ripple effect. Like, if you do that in your house, and then that spreads, over time in your spheres of influence. And
sorry to cut him off again. I love what Kyle's saying there. I have to get this out of my head because he's just sharing so much really good information here in this short period of time. And I'll make this the last piece before I'll stop this video, because otherwise I'm going to carry on for too long. But when he's talking about get back to center, to what it means to be a protector, I can align with that. I really resonate with that. I remember from when we had our children, when they were younger, as early as in being in kindy, I remember my wife and I teaching our daughter at the time, who was our youngest, what to do in the event of, if a stranger comes, looks to try to entice her to come away, picks her up and grabs her. I remember taking her through and explaining to her what she needed to do, and we role played it at home, and teaching her to yell, kick, scream, bite, scratch, do anything she could to be released or taken out of the hands of somebody that was not her father or her mother, or somebody that who was not her family. I don't know if that helped her or not. I don't know if she would have done it. But what I do know is that part of the role as a protector and a provider, we took and we take that job seriously, my wife and I. So we would spend time with our children and really delve into that. And then as our children got older, particularly our sons, spent more time with them and made sure that they understood their role. Hey, dad could be gone at any time. You boys, so I would speak with them regularly. You boys need to make sure that you look after mum and you look after your sisters and look after the house. So if dad's not here to do that, then I need you to do that. And it's been, so that's part of the reason why I resonate so strongly with what Kyle is talking about. Because if you could imagine, and this was just me thinking before ever knowing this about Kyle. So we had our daughter in 2000. So 2002, 2003-ish, we're sort of teaching 2003, 2004. we're teaching our children these things. I'd come back from Iraq in 2003 by that time, and we're teaching our daughter this stuff. Then our son was born in 2002, and then sort of we've ended up with 6. But I remember sharing with my children, particularly the boys, as early as I can remember, as young as when I felt that they would be old enough to start understanding, but still nowhere near ready for that responsibility. But I'd always be speaking to them about the need to step up and look after mum and look after the girls if anything happens to dad, like if dad doesn't come home or if I'm gone. And just coming back to what Kyle's talking about, man, if you could do that and build that type of environment within your homes, I think that is not only a beautiful thing, but I think it's a powerful thing for any young man, for any young woman to see, and for a family to have those values embedded within your family, and trying to distill that and sharing that and passing that on for generations to come. That could only result in positive things. That's my thoughts anyway. But I love what he shared here. I'm going to wrap this one up. That's 30 minutes. We haven't even got through this initial part yet. Actually, I'll let this carry on for this last part, and then I'll wrap it up there before I do a reaction to the hotel, because then I've got to do all the editing and stuff in here, which I'm still trying to get better at.
And then I'm doing it. And then we're building a league of protectors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're changing the way that we think as a cultural shift. Like it's not necessarily, it's not saying, because what I can't do, Kyle Morgan and Blue Bearing, is I'm not trying to lobby in politics to do this or that or the other. Like I'm just focusing on what I can do is show people what right looks like in this space of active shooter, and expose them to environments that I've been in. And with that, it's about exposure, and there's no one situation that's going to look the same. Mm-hmm. And you apply the same tactic every time. It's not. It's here. It's mindset. And that's why I do protector mindset training.
Look, you're not actually going to get anything.
And I pause that. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll go off that screen. But what he's speaking about there, I highly resonate with it all. Love it. Thank you for those that sent the recommendation for this reaction to here. Like, we've only just started and it's over half an hour on here with me waffling, just because what he's talking about and what Sean has shared so far as well is awesome stuff. So anyway, I'm going to leave this one here and we'll come back to it. I'll skip forward to the hotel incident where Mr. Morgan did some incredible stuff, which I don't really know much about. So I'm going to be seeing it, hearing it, feeling it for the first time and reacting to that as we go. So, hey, in saying that, whatever challenges, struggles, difficulties you may be going through, keep turning up, keep staying in the fight, keep putting yourself outside your comfort zone, test yourself. Everything's hard until it becomes easy. Get uncomfortable, and who dares wins. Go always a little further and keep pushing. And until the next video.